Red, White, and Royal Blue, Chapter 1. On the White House roof, tucked into a corner of the promenade, there's a bit of loose paneling right on the edge of the solarium. If you tap it just right, you can peel it back enough to find a message etched underneath, with the tip of a key or maybe a stolen West Wing letter opener. In the secret history of first families, an insular gossip mill sworn to absolute discretion about most things on pain of death. There's no definite answer for those who wrote it. The one thing people seem certain of is that only a presidential son or daughter would have been daring enough to deface the White House. Some swear it was Jack Ford, with his Hendrix records and split-level room attached to the roof for late-night smoke breaks. Others say it was young Lucy Johnson. Thick ribbon in her hair, but it doesn't matter. The writing stays. A private mantra for those resourceful enough to find it. Alex discovered it within his first week of living there. He's never told anyone how. It says, rule number 1, don't get caught. The east and west bedrooms on the second floor are generally reserved for the first family. They were first designated as one giant stateroom for visits from the Marquise de Lafayette in the Monroe administration, but eventually they were split. Alex has the east across from the treaty room, and June uses the west next to the elevator. Growing up in Texas, their rooms were arranged in the same configuration. On either side of the hallway, back then, you could tell June's ambition of the month by what covered her walls. At 12, it was watercolor paintings. At 15, lunar calendars and charts of crystals. At 16, clippings of the Atlantic, a UT Austin pennant. Gloria Steinheim, Zora Neale Hurston, and excerpts from papers of Dolores Huerta. His own room was forever the same, just steadily more stuffed with lacrosse trophies and piles of AP coursework. It's all gathering dust in the house they still keep back home. On a chain around his neck, always hidden from the view, he's worn the key to the house since the day he left for D.C. Now straight across the hall, June's room is all bright white and soft pink and minty green, photographed by Vogue and famously inspired by the old 60s interior. Designed periodicals she found in one of the White House sitting rooms. His own room was once Caroline Kennedy's nursery, and later warranting some sage burning from June. Nancy Reagan's office, he's left up Naturefield illustrations in a neat symmetrical grid above the sofa, but painted over Sacha Obama's pink walls with a deep blue. Typically, the children of the president, at least for the past few decades, haven't lived in the residence beyond 18. But Alex stayed at Georgetown. The January his mom sworn in, and logistically, it made sense not to split their security or cost to whatever one-bedroom apartment he'd be living in. June came that fall, fresh out of UT. She's never said it, but Alex knows she moved in to keep an eye on him. She knows better than anyone else how much he gets off on being this close to the action. She's bodily yanked him out of the West Wing on more than one occasion. Beyond his bedroom door, he can sit and put Hall & Oates on the record player in the corner, and nobody hears him humming along like his dad to Rich Girl. He can wear the reading glasses. He always insists he doesn't need them. He can make as many meticulous study guides with the color-coded sticky notes as he wants. He's not going to be the youngest elected congressman in modern history without earning it, but nobody needs to know how hard he's kicking underwater. His sex symbol stock would plummet. "Hey," a voice said at the door, and looks up from his laptop to see June edging into his room. 2 iPhones, a laptop, a stack of magazines tucked under one arm, and a plate in her hand. She closes the door behind her with her foot. "What you steal today?" Alex asked, pushing the pile of papers on his bed out of her way. "Assorted donuts," June says as she climbs up. She's wearing a pencil skirt with pointy pink flats, and he can already see next week's fashion columns. A picture of her outfit today, a lead-in for some SponCon about flats for the professional gala on the go. He wonders what she's been up to all day. She mentions a column for Wapoo, or it was a photo shoot for her blog, or both. He can never keep up. She's dumped her stack of magazines out on the bedspread, and it's already buying herself with them. Doing your part to keep the American gossip industry alive? That's what my journalism degree is for, June says. Anything good this week, Alex asks, reaching for a donut. Let's see, June says. In Touch says, I'm dating a French model. Are you? I wish. She flips through a few pages. Ooh, and they are saying you got your asshole bleached. That one is true, Alex says through a mouthful of chocolate with sprinkles. Thought so, June says without looking up. After riffling through most of the magazine, she shuffles it to the bottom of the stack and moves on to People. She flips through it absently. People only ever write that their publicists tell it to write. Boring. Not much on us this week. Oh, I'm a crossword puzzle clue. Following their tabloid coverage is something of an idle hobby of hers. One that interns amuses and annoys their mother, and Alex is narcissistic, enough to let June read him the highlights. They are usually either complete fabrications or lines fed from their press team, but sometimes it's just funny. Given the choice, he'd rather read one of the hundreds glowing pieces of fan fiction about him on the internet. The up to 11 version of himself with devastating charm and unbelievable physical stamina. But June flat out refuses to read those aloud to him, no matter how much he tries to bribe her. Do Us Weekly, Alex says. June digs it out of her stack. Oh look, we made the cover this week. She flashes the glossy cover at him, which was a photo of the two of them laid in the corner. June's hair pinned on the top of her head and Alex looking slightly overserved, but still handsome. All jawline in dark curls. Below it in bold yellow letters, the headline reads, First Siblings, Wild New York City Night. Oh yeah, that was a wild night, Alex says, reclining back against the tall leather headboard, pushing his glasses up his nose. 2 whole keynote speakers. Nothing sexier than shrimp cocktails and an hour and a half of speeches on carbon emissions. It says here you had some kind of tryst with a mystery brunette, June reads. Though the first daughter was whisked off by a limousine to a star-studded party shortly after the gala. 21-year-old heartthrob Alex was snapped, sneaking into the W Hotel to meet a mystery brunette in the presidential suite and leaving around 4 a.m. Sources inside the hotel reported hearing amorous noises from the room all night, and rumors are swirling the brunette was none other than Nora Halloran, the 22-year-old granddaughter of Vice President Mike Halloran, and the third member of the White House trio. Could it be the two rekindling their romance? Yes, Alex crows, and June groans. That's less than a month. You owe me $50, baby. Hold on, was it Nora? Alex thinks back to the week before, showing up in Nora's room with a bottle of champagne. Their thing on campaign trail a million years ago was brief, mostly to get the inevitable over with. They were 17 and 18, doomed from the start, both convinced that they were smartest person in any room. Alex has since conceded Nora is 100% smarter than him and definitely too smart to have ever dated him. It's not his fault the press won't let it go, though, that they love the idea of them together, as if they are modern day Kennedys. So if he and Nora occasionally got drunk in hotel rooms together, watching The West Wing and making loud moaning noises at the wall for the benefit of nosy tabloids, he can't be blamed, really. They are simply turning an undesirable situation into their own personal entertainment. Scamming his sister is also a perk. Maybe, he says, dragging out the vowels. June swats him with a magazine like he's especially obnoxious cockroach. That's cheating, you dick. Bet's a bet, Alex tells her. He said if there was a new rumor in a month, you'd owe me $50. I take Venmo. I'm not paying, June huffs. I'm gonna kill her when we see her tomorrow. What are you wearing, by the way? For what? The wedding? Whose wedding? The royal wedding, June says, of England. It's literally on every cover I just showed you. She holds up weekly again, and this time Alex notices the main story in giant letters. Prince Philip says, I do, along with a photograph of an extremely nondescript British hair, and his equally nondescript blonde fiancée smiling blandly. He drops his donut in a show of devastation. That's this weekend? Alex, we leave in the morning, June tells him. We've got 2 appearances before we even go to the ceremony. I can't believe Zara hasn't climbed up your ass about this already. Shit, he groans. I know I had written that down. I got sidetracked. What, by conspiring with my best friend against me in tabloids for $50? No, with my research paper, smartass. Alex says, gesturing dramatically at his piles of notes. I've been working on it for Roman political thought all week. And I thought we agreed Nora is our best friend. That can't possibly be real for a class you are talking about. June says, it is possible you willfully forgot about the biggest international event of the year because you don't want to see your arch nemesis. June, I'm the son of the President of the United States. Prince Henry is a figurehead of the British Empire. You can't just call him my arch nemesis. Alex says. He returns to his donut, chewing thoughtfully, and adds, arch nemesis implies he's actually a rival to me on any level, and not, a stuck-up product of inbreeding who probably jerks off to photos to himself. Woof. I'm just saying. Well, you don't have to like him. You just have to put on a happy face and not cause an international incident at his brother's wedding. Bug, when do I ever not put on a happy face, Alex says. He pulls a painfully fake grin, and June looks satisfyingly repulsed. Ugh, anyway, you know what you are wearing, right? Yeah, I picked it out and had Zara approve it last month. I'm not an animal. I'm still not sure about my dress, June says. She leans over and steals his laptop away from him. ignoring his noise of protest. Do you think the maroon or the one with the lace? Lace, obviously. It's England. And why are you trying to make me fail this class? He says, reaching for his laptop only to have his hand swatted away. Go curate your Instagram or something. You are the worst. Shut up. I'm trying to pick something to watch. Ew, you have Golden Garden State on your watch list? Wow, how's film school in 2005 going? I hate you. I know. Outside his window, the wind stirs up over the lawn, rustling in the leaden trees. Down in the garden, the record on the turntable in the corner has spun out into fizzy silence. He rolls off the blades and flips it, resetting the needle, and the second side picks up on London Luck and Love. If he's honest, private aviation doesn't really get old, not even in 3 years into his mother's term. He doesn't get to travel this way a lot, but when he does, it's hard not to let it go to his head. He was born in the hill country of Texas to the daughter of a single mother and the son of Mexican immigrants. All of them dirt poor. Luxury travel is still a luxury. 15 years ago, when his mother first ran for the House, the Austin newspaper gave her a nickname, the Limited Long Shot. She'd escaped her tiny hometown in the shadow of Fort Hood, pulled nights at shifts at diners to put herself through law school, and was arguing discrimination cases before the Supreme Court by 30. She was the last thing anybody expected to rise up out of Texas in the midst of the Iraq War. A strawberry blonde, whip-smart Democrat with high heels, an unapologetic drawl, and a little biracial family. So, it's still surreal that Alex is cruising somewhere over the Atlantic, snaking up on pistachios in high-backed leather chair. With his feet up, Nora is bent over the New York Times crossword opposite to him. Brown curls falling across her forehead. Beside her, the hulking Secret Service agent, Cassius. Cash, for short, holds his own copy in one giant hand, racing to finish it first. The cursor on Alex's Roman political thoughts paper blinks expectantly at him from his laptop. But something in him can't quite focus on school while they are flying transatlantic. Amy, his mother, favorite Secret Service agent, a former Navy SEAL, who is rumored around D.C. to have killed several men, sits across the aisle. She's got bulletproof titanium case of crafting supplies open on the couch next to her. It is serenely embroidering flowers onto a napkin. Alex has seen her stab someone in the kneecap with a very similar embroidery needle, which leaves June next to him, leaning on one elbow with her nose buried in the issue of People. She's inexplicably fraught with them. She always chooses the most bizarre reading material for flights. Last time it was battered old Cantonese phrase book. Before that, death comes for the Archbishop.